Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I'm so happy to have my friend Julie on here. We met 10 years ago this month at BYU Provo, and I'm so excited to have you on here today.
Thank you. I am too. Thanks so much for inviting me, Celeste. I just think of those times at BYU so fondly, and everyone there they were just neat people. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. You always have been a ray of sunshine. So it's
Thanks.
so great to just know you. So let's just jump right in. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, so my name is Julie Warner, and I live up in the Cache Valley area. My family, I just have a husband and a daughter, and I have one on the way. And I don't know, we just love life living up here. There's a ton of snow right now, so that's kind
Yeah.
of fun. But yeah, I don't know. I've started some different businesses personally, and just tried to make ends meet with my family. And I don't know, just love doing things with my life. I'm a driven person, so.
Yes. Yes. Driven to make a difference for you and your family and many others. I'm excited to get into that more. That is awesome. Well, I just wanted to start from the very beginning of just your motherhood journey. And I guess did you live by family and that sort of thing? If you want to just dive into your motherhood.
Yeah, sure. So I got married kind of later for like my community standards. I know for some people, they get married a lot later than I did, but I felt like I kind of had a long time until I got the chance and the beautiful opportunity to have kids. Because it's been a dream my whole life, and I always wanted that. And so my husband and I got married. We were close to 30 years old, and I was like, okay, well, we're not really going to wait to have kids because I don't want to be so old that I like can't run around with them. And so we were fortunate enough. God was so helpful in our process that we were able to get pregnant pretty quickly and have our first little girl. I guess it's almost been 2 years. That is so crazy. But I don't know. That journey is amazing. And I just think, holy cow, like God and my husband get to have this opportunity to create life. And that's one of the most sacred things that I've ever been through in my life. Like being married to my husband was a sacred experience. And then having a child has made that even sweeter in our marriage, as well as just recognizing what God does for his children and allows us to partake in that creativity process. Like that's amazing to me.
Oh, yes. And I feel like because you kind of waited longer than maybe you thought, I'm sure you just cherish, like, obviously, you just cherish that new family, that creation of you and your husband, growing your family.
Yeah. So I think for me, I was just like, it's always been a dream and I really want to have children. And then it happened for us. And yes, I just feel so blessed. So God is good.
Yes, that is so cool. Did anything with having a baby, did anything kind of throw you off guard or surprise you that you kind of had to work through or ask for help with?
Well, of course, pregnancy symptoms. like
Yes.
you hear all the stories and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll be able to deal with that. And then when it's you, it's a lot harder than I was anticipating. And my first baby, I literally threw up every single day the whole pregnancy,
Wow.
and I was like, oh my gosh, if this is how this is gonna go, that's really hard. But I just you just have to power through. Women do that, and we're strong and we can do it. And you also find that you are stronger than you think you were. And so that uh, played a role, I guess, in that first pregnancy. That I was like, okay, I was surprised about that. Um, I was also surprised how much your life completely changes when that baby comes.
Oh,
Um, Yeah, because I mean, I know babies and I've had them in my house and I'm one of the older children in my family. So I've like seen babies come in all the time, and but having my own, I realized, okay, no one else is taking care of this child. That's me.
Yeah.
I'm the mom. And if they need something, that's my responsibility. And not that I didn't want to do it, but I recognized that it was a need and a have to. It wasn't like I could choose, I guess.
Yes, being an older child, it's like you do have responsibilities, but it's also not your, I mean, it's a sibling relationship, not a your own your own child. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I thought, oh, I know how to do this, but it was completely different as a mom, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Yes. Did you find, I know the responsibility is is big, and how did you, or who are your best allo mothers, people that you could ask to step in? Who are those people at the time of your first?
Um, so neighbors have been huge. um, and obviously my real mom, but if we're talking about like outside of that, I think my neighbors have been the most help. I'll call one of them down the road and just say, "Hey, I need to run and do this," and she'll just say, "Yeah, bring him right over," and we'll, just throw her in with everything that we're doing. And
Wow.
I just don't think I could have survived everything that I was doing without the help of the community around me. Like, they say that it takes a village to raise a child. Yes, I definitely agree with that because it's not just me. And also for her to like partake of the opportunity to be with other kids in the neighborhood, that's a big deal for me too, because she gets to have those interactions, and it's not just me, that I don't have to feel like all the pressure is just on me. So definitely neighbors, I think, have been those allo mothers for me, that they've come to my rescue. Or and then in like a different way, that they weren't helping raise my kids, but I have this group of ladies that we get together and uh, talk and visit. And, sometimes we watch a movie or we visit till like midnight. And I didn't realize I needed that after I got married too, that
Oh,
I needed other women to like be part of me and my community, and not just part of my kids' life, like part of my life. And so that's been kind of fun too, is that all these mothers around, we get to help and mother each other too, I guess.
oh, that's, man, I realized that too. Early on, I saw other people have girls' nights and those groups, and I was like, I mean, that looks really nice. And I didn't have it for a little while. And we started homeschooling, and then I was like, oh, wow, do I need this? And so this year, I don't think I'll be able to do it. But anyway, the past couple years, we've had these, what do they call it? We call them mom retreats. And, we moved from Oregon, so we'd go to the coast, and I was like, oh, wow, like I need that time with other women, like without kids, and just to chat about what we wanted to chat about, without the kids pulling at us. And it's like, it's really necessary. I feel like.
Yeah, no, and I think I've found that more and more as time has gone. And I don't know if you've seen that Netflix series Sweet Magnolias, but they have like a little night where they get together with the girls and they have cocktails. But since I don't drink, we like make lemonade or have mocktails and different things. So we've tried to
Yeah.
incorporate like some fun stuff with our ladies and just have a really good time. And yeah, talk about life, talk about our birthing stories or whatever you want to talk about with ladies, right? And
Yes.
it's really important because then you have this support group. And I feel like now I can, when I see them in the community, there's more of a kinship and more of a friendship now that we spend this time together.
Wow. So is it like once a month? Is it kind of a set time, or how often do you get together?
Um, so we were doing it kind of once a month. The holidays have kind of thrown that,
Oh, yeah.
but it's just one lady will just be like, "Hey, I need to have this night," and then we'll plan it.
Oh,
But
that's,
we try to do a little bit regular so that we can still spend time with each other and make sure that we actually do it.
oh, that's amazing. What a great example. I think it's so important to prioritize time for you with other people.
Agreed.
So great. So when you was it easy for like back to asking your neighbors for help? Did people more offer like did you feel like it was hard to ask for help? Or did people offer it enough? How was that process of being like, yeah, I do need help? Or was it hard to drop off your daughter? Any of those
I
things?
think at the beginning it was. I don't know. I think we as women want to think that we're strong and we can do anything, and just realizing that, hey, it doesn't mean that you're not strong if you ask for help from other people is a big thing for me. And
Yeah.
because everyone needs a break, or everyone needs to run to the grocery store without a child, asking for everything, or even just to take a bath. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
Like, there are times that you just need that break. And so I think at first I was hesitant, and also I didn't know a lot of my neighbors because we just moved here, and I
Okay.
was like, I don't know a lot of people. And so it took a minute to kind of warm up to the community around me. And then there was one couple that we kind of connected with and started playing games. And then I thought, oh, if we wanted to trade, we probably could. And we had played with each other, like our kids played a couple of times. And then
Oh,
after that, I felt comfortable to ask her. Like, it did warm up. I couldn't just all of a sudden ask my neighbor, hey, can my child come over? It definitely took a friendship between her and I. And then our kids played together while we were
oh.
there. And then we were comfortable enough after that to ask that, they could come without me. So there is a process for me.
Oh, yes. No, it really is. And I think it, especially, well, we've moved, quite okay, a lot of times. And it does take, I guess, for anybody that has recently moved and you don't have anyone to rely on yet, like it will come. So just start building, see who you could play games with or see what you have, some things in common, kids that are the same age, you have to kind of scope out those people and then get to know them. And yeah, a couple steps later, you can offer. And I think it's awesome that you kind of had that in mind, like maybe we could, and then the relationship kind of progressed and I don't know, when I offer things like that, people like immediately want to reciprocate. They're just like, "Oh, that'd be so great. Like we'd love to do that." It's just this breakthrough like, "Yes." It's usually very reciprocated, I've found.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think everyone, yeah, because she's now asked me a few times, and I think, wow, yeah, we made this connection now, and that pressure is lifted, right? I keep talking about like that weight, motherhood
Oh,
sometimes
yes.
is that. And the more you connect with other people and the more you reach out and lean on others, that weight gets lifted from you. And I've definitely felt that with this friend on the street. So yeah, and especially because my parents live like an hour away, and so it's not that I can just say, "Hey,
Oh,
I'm bringing her over."
yeah.
And so I've had to learn a lot how to reach out to other people and really rely on the community around me.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, even that hour, it would take a lot of planning to, it's not like you can just drop your daughter off for a Friday night date. It would
No.
take a lot of planning to do that type of distance. Mhm.
Yep. And yeah, an hour's fine. Like if you are going on a weekend getaway or something, my parents will watch her. But if you need it, or for a doctor's appointment for this new baby, I've
Oh,
definitely needed people just on the fly, and um, it's nice to have that community to reach out to.
yes. I remember when we moved to Orem from Salt Lake. Yeah. And I think Isabel was maybe a year old. And I was, it's just like that, even that one child just takes up all of your mental load. And I was just like, I just need to shower. So I called a girl that lived in our same complex, but they didn't have kids yet. And she like ran right over and played
Oh,
with her for 10 minutes while I showered. And I was like, oh, I mean, it just changed my whole day. Like
yeah.
just
Yep. And for them, it probably was just like, oh yeah, I get to serve, and you feel good about yourself too when you do that. And so obviously I know there's a balance of taking advantage of people, and you don't do that. But
Yeah.
I think that there's a level of, hey, if she's asking me and I'm asking her, we're both benefiting here. And being respectful of people's time is a big deal for me too. Like if you say
Yeah.
you're going to go to a doctor's appointment and it will be this long, it needs to be that long. Or you call and say, hey, I need to do this too. Or and then everyone's, if they feel respected, then they're all going to be fine with that.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard. You're right. Sometimes you're out, and I think it's happened to me. Totally happened to me. Like I go to an appointment, and I'm like, oh, I want to run to Dollar Tree without the kids. Can I just grab that one thing? And so as long as you keep that communication, and you can. I guess I always say like in a text or a call, like if you're like done, if you need to get going on your day, I can do it another time. Don't worry. But if you do have a minute, do you mind if I do that? As long as you keep that communication going, you can keep it balanced, feels like.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, open communication is always the key.
Yes, yes. Oh, that's awesome. So, any kind of other advice for first-time moms of what you know now, that you would have helped yourself with? Any other advice for those people?
Just know that it's hard and that's okay. I think I didn't realize the mental load and even physical and emotional load that
Oh,
came right after. And I wouldn't say I struggled like hugely with postpartum depression, but I think a little bit. Because I recognized it later that maybe that's what was happening, because I
oh,
would get kind of down, or think things that I was like, whoa, that is like not usually what I think about. And I think I realized later that that was a little bout of that postpartum depression. And then just reaching out and telling my husband, hey, I think this is what's going on, and I just need some help, I guess.
yeah.
That's okay that that's happening, and then it's a phase and you'll move past it. And I don't know, just reaching out to your husband and making sure that he's in check with like what your emotions are and what's happening with you and what you need. That helped me a ton.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yeah, I think honestly, well, yeah, as you said that, I remember like when you're laying there, you're super tired with a newborn, and that baby is really relying on you. But I remember just because I had been in school for both pregnancies. Yeah, I had finished my bachelor's degree by the time anyway, I was pregnant with my second one. And so I was used to just being busy. And then you're laying there and you're like, I could be doing this, I should be doing this, but physically you're like, no, no.
mm-hmm.
And so I think, yeah, just recognizing that you're not gonna just jump back in the next day after you give birth or the next week and just keep doing all the upkeep that you usually do. And I think we're just so capable as women that it's so hard to just lay there. And people are like, sleep when the baby's sleeping. And you're like, but I don't want to. I want to be up. And,
Well, and
really,
you're feeling guilty too, because you're thinking my house is a mess and there's not dinner on the table and there's dishes, and really now you've added this giant thing to your life. And so you need to step back and say, okay, how is this going to work, and what roles do my husband and I need to now take? Because I truly believe that a child is not a one person job.
yes.
It's a two-person job. And there's a reason that God wants it to be a husband and wife to have a child, because it really is that. It's a two-person job. But I have compassion for women who obviously that isn't their reality,
Yeah.
and you can do it. It's hard, but you can do it. But my advice would be, please find a husband, do something, like see if there's somebody in your neighborhood that can help, because yeah, I couldn't do it without my husband or the community around me. uh you need other people to help.
Yeah, either accept if people are offering a lot, then say yes, and if they're not, then just think of specific things you need and just ask because it helps you just through that first phase. So I love that.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, that's awesome. So I wanted to shift and talk about whichever business you want to talk about that you're kind of doing right now and how just an explanation of it, what you offer. We'll definitely put your links, below the video. But if you just want to talk about that, about what you're kind of doing on top of your motherhood.
So I am really into natural solutions and just finding that kind of first line of defense. I'm not against modern medicine. I actually love like the epidural when I have babies and stuff. Like I'm not against modern medicines, but I have found that I want my body to like feel good and be well more naturally than with medications and different things. And I have found a lot of people around me and like family and different things that are very reliant on different medications to kind of just help them through the day on a regular basis. And
Wow.
that surprises me a lot because I've always been an active person and always like wanted to be healthy in different things. And I never want to be reliant on something because then you always either crave it or need it, or your body kind of adjusts to wanting it. And so you have to have it, I guess, at that point. And
Yeah.
so I'm partnering with a wellness company that helps with natural solutions. And I have different supplements and different like collagen and vitamins, probiotics, and things that I have introduced to my family that has helped us on a really awesome trajectory of health that is helping our bodies have energy that is from a place of like, I don't know, the essence of where your body gets that energy. It's real and it's natural. It's not coming from a caffeine source or
Oh,
a different thing that's like stimulating your body. So that's the business that I'm taking right now. And it's just under my name, just Julie Warner, and on Instagram, Julie and Warner. And I just help women through their own family and help them decide what natural solutions that they need for their specific family. I have people that will ask, well, what's your most sold product? And I don't have one because I don't want it to be, this is the product that I'm selling. I want
right.
it to be, hey, this is what your family needs, and let's cater this plan for what your family needs. So we have some families that struggle with sleep, or we have some families that struggle with energy, or uh, needing to have solutions for helping them with weight. And I want to cater my plans to what your family needs. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, that's amazing. I just think it's amazing that you're offering help. And I just, us, we love natural solutions just for your body to help itself. So we're on the same
Right.
page there. But I love how you're really helping and healing your family and you're helping others in the middle of motherhood. And I'm just wondering, how do you balance that? Because that's a lot.
Well, it hasn't always been easy, and I've taken it as a backseat for a little while too, and kind of like come back to it because my baby is the most important thing. And so when I was doing it full time, kind of like, okay, making reels and posting and doing all these things, sometimes I would feel guilty that I wasn't playing with my little girl, and I just thought, that's not worth it either to like push her to the side. And
Uh-huh.
so I think it's times and seasons for sure. And taking advantage of time when she's asleep in the morning, or nap time is a big deal
Yeah.
for me. And then planning, making sure that I have a
Oh,
plan ahead of time. Because if I'm doing it on the fly, I do push her to the side a little bit because I'm like, okay, I have to get this deadline done. And if I don't plan, that happens more often. So planning is a big deal for me in that process of just, okay, this is what I'm going to do for this week. And making sure it gets done when she's asleep and different things so that I'm not doing it when she's there. And for other women, I know it's easier when they like go to school and then you can do it when they're gone.
Yeah.
But my child is too, and we're at home and we play, and I definitely want to be here and present for that time, especially because of my story. I told you I waited for so long to have a child. I don't want to miss that. Like, this
Yeah.
is what I waited for my whole life. And why would I want a business to take over that dream, I guess? So planning is a huge thing, and just making sure that you're making time for the most important things.
Oh, it's amazing. You've got good priorities. And I think planning can help with that guilt that, I mean, we shouldn't have guilt, but I think there's just times when it kind of pricks us and it's like, oh, I could, if I plan, I can, I can play with them and kind of fire my brain with, you know, a business. So,
Yep. Well, and I do think for me, I love it and I'm passionate about it, and I do think that you need that as a woman too. That you need something that you're passionate about to do too. Like, you don't have to just be in the background. Or I am, yeah, I'm an advocate of, hey, you can do your passions too. That's fine, but making sure that those kids are the priority, and then yeah, you can do whatever you want after that.
yeah, yeah, that is amazing. Such great advice. Just hold, if you do have a passion, just hold on to it. It doesn't happen all at once either, It kind of just takes some time to build and and kind of realize at what point, and I think you have to be realistic with, like, this is the age of my kids. We are home, or maybe they are, eventually maybe they will go to preschool, twice a week, and that will free up a little more time. But being kind of real with your situation in each phase has helped me at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, the last question I love asking that I didn't tell you beforehand is if an owl mother was, so anyone, if anyone, any owl parent was to knock on your door tomorrow morning and help you with something, what would it be? What would you ask for?
I would probably ask them to play with my little girl so I could do laundry or dishes. 'Cause I feel like those are the hardest tasks, and especially now that she's two, that she just like runs in and is like, okay, let me pull everything out, and I want to
No, yes.
throw all the dishes on the ground. So I know that that's so silly, but that's probably what I would do, is just, hey, can you just like play with her on the ground for a sec while I do this really fast? Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That is a real thing. Having someone else play with your child for a minute so you can just do one thing is just very helpful. Yep, I totally understand. That is awesome. Well, I have absolutely loved this conversation. There has been so many great tips, and I just love seeing your passion. Is there anything else that popped into your mind before we close up?
Just that children are beautiful and they're worth it. I know that the world is very against them, or also just, hey, just have one. Like, they really are worth it, and God will help you, and the people in your community will help you to do it. But they just bring so much joy into your life that you just would never know. And yeah, you can have nieces and nephews, you can babysit, you can, have that pseudo kid, but it's not the same. Your own kid is beyond any of that, and it really is the joy of this life. So
Oh, amen. Amen. There is nothing like the pure joy that I feel like that pure joy and love and happiness of kids, of our killed kids, it has gotten us through. It's so funny. Like, we go through really big ups and downs, and they are just this constant They
Yep.
just give us joy and love to, enough that it's like it just makes life better with ups and downs. Wow, they keep it amazing. So
Yep, I agree. So, thank you so much. This has been so fun.
yes, you're welcome. I'm excited for everyone to listen. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.